As the season hits the halfway point, the BDRC British F3 Championship arrives at one of the world's greatest tracks, Silverstone. It's a place that many of these drivers dream about racing one day in Formula One, and this series is a great place in which to prove your skills and just maybe make that dream come a little bit closer. Last time out, the picturesque Oulton Park proved a massive test for the drivers. Some rose to the challenge, where others failed. In race one, it was championship leader Ricky Collard who claimed pole and held the lead off the line. Colton Herta couldn't hang on to second as Tom Randall shot through. Sisu and Gemelana was feeling the pressure further back and made a small mistake into Old Hall corner. Amaya Vaidyanathan saw his chance to attack and tried to dive through. They locked wheels and Amaya was launched into a terrifying accident. His car spun several times in the air before landing hard back on the track. The race was immediately stopped. The car was a wreck, but Amaya was thankfully okay. The race didn't restart, and victory went to Ricky Collard.
Sounds like quite a hefty shunt, so yeah, obviously it's great to take the win, but I want to dedicate it to him and I hope he gets well soon.
Unbelievably, for race two, Amaya Vaidyanathan was back, the team having somehow managed to rebuild his car. At the front was Enam Ahmed, and it was a busy start away from the lights. Ahmed kept the lead, and the Snetterton winner was determined to remind everyone he was quick. However, Toby Sowery also wanted a piece of the action. As they ran flat out, there was contact between them. Despite bouncing on the grass, Sowery amazingly hung on to second place, but the officials were looking at Ahmed's driving. Behind, Matthias Leist was on a charge, forcing his way past Jan Jonk, and then an intense battle developed for third between him and his double R teammate Enzo Portoletto, both aiming for a podium finish. For Enam Ahmed, it looked like nothing would get in the way of the win as he tore past the checkered flag. However, as he celebrated, the officials handed him a 6-second penalty, putting him down to second place, leading Toby Sowery gain the win.
Me and Enam had a bit of contact which hampered me a little, but you know, it wasn't anything serious.
For race three, it was Ricky Collard back on pole, and again he made a good start. But it was Tom Randall who almost made it from third to first as he tried to squeeze between the Carlin teammates Collard and Colton Herta. As the race progressed, Ricky Collard was looking dominant out front, pulling away from the others. He crossed the line to take his second win in what had been a near-perfect weekend for him.
You don't have weekends like this often, and I think at the moment I'm just embracing it. It's been a dominant weekend.
So Ricky Collard has grabbed the championship by the scruff of its neck and made it clear he wants it. At the halfway point, it's time for the others to respond. One driver showing good pace is Denmark's Jan Jonk. Consistently a front runner in the series, he is still chasing that elusive first podium finish after just missing out at Oulton Park.
It's been a good ride until now. It was a bit of a shame with Oulton because we had really good pace, but it was just a really tough track to overtake on. And if you didn't quite manage to pick a few people off the start, it was tough to get back again. So yeah, just missed out on an opportunity there, but it was really good to show that we actually have the pace when the car is there and when I'm hitting the day. So yeah, I hope the podium is coming soon because that would be perfect for this time of the year.
This weekend has a new addition to the field as well. Harrison Scott. He narrowly missed out on the Winter Championship, but he has plenty of experience in the new Tatius chassis.
Unfortunately, I did the Winter Series last year in the new car, so yeah, obviously not a stranger to it, but this year I've been racing in Formula Renault Euro Cup, so I haven't actually been in the car at all this year. So come to this event, really enjoy the car's really fast. A little bit quicker than the Renault in a straight line and more aero grip, but yeah, no, really happy with how it's going. Haven't done the start of the year, and I think we're halfway through now, so championship wise we're not really going for anything, but definitely want to be going out there for the podiums, and the pace has shown it's been really good so far. I was a little bit unlucky in qualifying, had my 3 best lap times deleted, so was down in 6th, but could have been a lot better. But no, happy with how it's going, and certainly I want to take away some podiums for the team and for myself.
Matthias Leist currently lies 3rd in the standings. He's hoping to close the gap here this weekend after an impressive visit to Alton Park.
Yes, of course, very special for me. You know, we from Brazil, we always talk about Silverstone. So come here to race and race on this track, it's amazing. You know, I feel very happy, and I'm really happy to be here with my team and doing a great job. The pace is here, so I'm sure that we can do a little bit more. I'm in 3rd now in the championship, but we are fast, and I know that we can win this championship, so we are fighting for this, and let's see what we can do.
It's time to go racing here at Silverstone. The first of 3 races on the full Grand Prix circuit, a real challenge for the drivers. And it's Tom Randall, 2nd in the championship, who lines up on pole position. But with him at the front of the grid is Matthias Leist. Lando Norris returning to the championship. He will start 3rd as we get set for the first 9-lap race of the weekend. The championship leader, Ricky Collard, starts 5th on the grid as the cars now slot their way into position at the end of the green flag lap. Tarun Reddy, 4th on the grid, a man to watch. He had a good qualifying session, and so the drivers now look towards the Silverstone gantry. As soon as the lights go red, engine notes will rise, and then race 1 is going to be underway here. Pole position, Tom Randall. He looks towards the lights, engine notes rise. You're on board with Lando Norris. Lights out, we're racing. Good start by Norris as he catapults up alongside the car of Matthias Leist. There's drama behind already, 1 on the grass, 1 with lots of damage, pulling off to the side of the road, which looked like Krishnaraj Mahadik's car. It's there, Jeremy Wahomey turns his way through Copse Corner, but Mahadik is out of the race already, and you can see there's damage at the front. There's completely broken front left suspension, so there's been a very heavy impact. Seemingly somebody didn't get off the line, and Mahadik has gone into the back of them. The race leaders then work their way through the Beckett's S's for the first time onto the Hanger Straight, and now down towards Stoke Corner. So it's Randall in the lead of the race then. Lando Norris, you're riding with him in 2nd spot. Now, what progress has Collard made at the moment? He's in 6th, and it could even be 7th. He's dropping down, not up the order. There, Tarun Reddy turns his way through. He's also lost out off the start. 4th he is, as really wide there went Alex Huvenen as the leaders work their way down to the end of Vale. The Grand Prix circuit has so much in it. Lots of opportunities for overtaking as 21 Jan Jonk turns his way through, trying to keep Huvenen at bay, and also in a really feisty mood there. Toby Sowery, number 8 in the red and white car, up the inside. Lots and lots of weaving around going on, as I think we're going to have a safety car board somewhere to see in a moment. Rather strikes me as though people have backed off now and are keeping tyres warm. That's why the weaving is going on, and I'm looking for a board and looking for a flag. Yes, there are safety car boards out, and there is the reason why, because that car does need to be removed from harm's way. You can just see to the right as Norris turns his way down towards Brooklands, yellow flags waving, and so all of the weaving around that you saw was to maintain the warmth in the rubber here. And not only a safety car, but a red flag is being shown. So a red flag, in other words, a race stop. Now let's try and piece it all together. It's Enzo Bortoletto who goes nowhere, and a huge impact into the back of him. That was Krishnaraj Mahadik ploughing into the rear of Bortoletto. And this from the back of Bortoletto's car. Wait for the crunch. Bang! So 2 cars need moving out of harm's way. The grid will form up once more, and we're going to be ready for the restart here at Silverstone. Action coming up after the break. Welcome back to Silverstone for the BRDC British F3 Championship. We are re-gridding, ready for a restart after Enzo Bortoletto's car failed to get away and was hit very hard indeed by Krish Mahadik's car. Here's the replay looking down onto the grid. Bortoletto goes nowhere, and Mahadik moves across and ends up ploughing straight into the back. A very big impact indeed. Both cars out of the race, both cars with significant damage. This was how Mahadik saw it, or perhaps didn't see it really, because as he blasts away, he suddenly darts to the left of his teammate and finds right in his path the stationary car of Bortoletto, and a very heavy rear impact. Well, the grid has been cleared. We are now good to go. The last car in place, Eugene Dennison back from the green flag lap. And so it is take 2 for round 13 of the BRDC British F3 Championship. Tom Randall is the man on pole position. The 5-second board gets him on his toes. He looks to the red lights. When they go out, it's blast off. Randall gets away well, moves across to try to defend from Matthias Leist on the way down towards Kopp's corner. But can he do it? Leist commits and goes through and takes over the lead. Good start by Leist, as running out a little bit wide is Lando Norris behind them. On board now with Ricky Collard. Makes his move against Tarun Reddy in the red and white car just up the road. Norris tries to get up the inside of Randall. Collard is still level with Reddy, but he's on the outside line for the second element of the Beckett's S's and has to give way, as now up round the outside tries to go Harrison Scott, and there he is. Scott goes through. On board with Collard, down the hanger straight now, heading towards Stowe Corner as Matthias Leist leads the way. Randall is second, third, and making a move to the inside. The blue Carlin car of Lando Norris, who closes right up then, and so too does Collard as they break for Stowe. Collard is back ahead of Scott, but he's off the road, runs way wide, manages to hang on to the place. Harrison Scott tucked up behind him. Inam Ahmed joins the battle as well. Scott to the outside at the end of Vale. Wheel to wheel they go. Now the inside line for Club Corner is claimed by the blue and white car of Harrison Scott, and he goes through. Championship leader Ricky Collard loses one spot there. Up past the wing they come. Collard back on his toes, looking for a way through now as the cars turn their way up through the right and then left sweeps of Abbey and then through Farm. Hard on the brakes, down towards Village now. Turn right. And Ahmed keeping at bay Sisu and Gebelana. Ahmed in 65 there, the pale blue and white Douglas Motorsport car, the man who won at Snetterton, accelerating his way now up through the loop and then towards Aintree. Number 3 is Ben Hingley, as there Norris commits to the inside line against Randall, down towards Brooklands for second place. He should make that work, he does. There's a big puff of tar smoke ahead as the leader locks up. Randall then drops back down into third place. Matthias Leist leads as they turn their way up out of Luffield. Through Woodcote Corner now, over the timing line. The race leader is Matthias Leist. He's had 2 wins already this year. He's third in the championship and he's trying to get away. Lando Norris doing this part season, aiming to score good points when he can. He's dovetailing this championship with a couple of Formula Renault championships, the Euro Cup and the NEC. And as he turns his way now up through Maggots, number 31 there, look, the dark blue car, the Carlin entry of Lando Norris, is hunting down the race leader. Third behind him, going strongly, is Tom Randall, but not strongly enough, having lost one place. Can he fight back? On board with Ricky Collard, the championship leader is not really having a very happy time of it here. 5th in qualifying and struggling a little bit early doors in the race. Down they come, heading in towards Stowe. So Leist is the leader, but battles rage on right the way through the order. 37 there, closing up under braking Sisu and Gebelana. He's on the back of Inam Ahmed. As to the right, Harrison Scott slows, and through goes Ricky Collard. So he's gained 1 place back, but Scott in the HHC car suddenly slowed right down, coming out of Stowe. Now, can he get going again? Can he pick up pace, or is that the end of Scott? Replay here, on board with Collard, then down towards Stowe Corner. Brakes as late as he dares, turns into the right-hander, uses all of the road, and Scott just peels to the right-hand side, seemingly no power. Collard picks up the place. Inam Ahmed through then. One on the road at Alton Park, but was given that rather controversial penalty for the contact with Toby Sowry. Sowry saying afterwards it was no big deal, but the officials took another view on it. So he was given a penalty that reversed the 2 places. Number 21 also in the battle there is Jan Jonk in the SWR car, Sean Walkinshaw Racing, and he now is on the back of Sisu and Gebelana, who started 13th on the grid, and Gebelana here in his 2nd year in this equivalent category, last year known as F4, now F3, is chipping away, trying to get himself up onto the tail once more of Inam Ahmed. But Ricky Collard still hunting down the pack ahead of him, and Jonk closing right up to Gebelana there as they turn their way through Brooklands. Behind is Toby Sowry, who's also been struggling a little bit, certainly in the qualifying session for this race. He was only 12th on the grid and he's not yet making progress. Through Woodcote they come, up over the timing line now. Towards the rear of the field, Jeremy Wahome turns through. Race leaders, though, are up at Maggots, and Toby Sowry still doing his best to make progress as the cars work their way through the Beckett's S's. Sari, having been off the pace a bit in qualifying, is trying now to get himself up the order, and he is closing onto the back of Jan Jong. Dust is kicked up ahead of them as they work their way onto the Hanger Straight. So race order, Leist ahead of Randall, ahead of Reddy. So what's happened to Lando Norris? He's not in that pack, is he? There he is! That is Lando Norris, and he's off the road, and that is coming out of Chapel Curve. So that puff of dust we saw ahead of the Sari fight was Lando Norris going off the road altogether. So Norris in the tyre barrier, race done. He doesn't often make mistakes, but he's made a pretty significant one. Lando Norris in the barriers, out of the race, is running wide. Is Jan Jong there? Touch of understeer going through Club. So race order is shuffled with the demise of Norris. Toby Sari on the tail of Jong, pulls out, has a look, and pulls back in again. He can't find a way up the inside as they work their way on the run up towards Abbey, now through Farm, on towards Village. The Lannon racing car, the red and white livery, carried by Toby Sari, right on the tail of the Dane, Jan Jong. He goes wide up towards the loop, trying to get the undercut there on the inside towards Aintree. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Surges up the inside, Sari to the inside. He'll use the curb. He's going to come out of the corner, absolutely dead set level with Jong now in the blue car. And so Toby Sari makes the run down towards Brooklands, wheel to wheel as they get to the braking zone. But Sari on the inside should claim the place. But if Jong can stand his ground, he can't. I was going to say the road will go back in his favour on the inside line for this corner Luffield, but he couldn't level all the way up that short straight with Sari. So Toby Sari goes through, gains the position, and that was hard work. Through they go, over the timing line now. Up front, still looking very strong in the lead of the race, is Matthias Leist. So we've lost Harrison Scott, we've lost Lando Norris, unfortunately. And of course we've lost Bortoletto, and we have lost Mahadik from before the red flag in that incident that stopped the race early on. So Toby Sari then, having worked his way up past Jan Jong, pushes on, and there, crawling along Hanger Straight, is Harrison Scott. Back out after a pit stop, but clearly still with problems. Now let's just try and piece together what happened to Lando Norris. You're on board with Ricky Collard through the Beckett's S's. Now have a look up the road. 2 cars further up the road, there'll be a big puff of dust, and Norris goes from one side of the circuit to the other and off the road into the barriers on the outside of Chapel Curve. The fight's on for the last place on the podium. Tarun Reddy versus Ricky Collard. Out of Stowe, down Vale now, running together. And then hard on the brakes as they turn their way left at the end of Vale into the right-hander of Club Corner. And where does Collard make the move here? Tarun Reddy having one of his better showings of the season here, actually, in fairness to him. He did take second place at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit back in May. But here he's aiming for another podium, and Collard likewise. So it's going to be a real battle all the way to the checkered flag between them. Collard looking the quicker, making a move potentially on the outside up towards Village. Can't do it there. Can he dive up the inside going towards the loop? The answer is no. What about getting a tighter line coming out of the loop, the inside for Aintree? Thinks about it, but Reddy knew exactly what was coming. He was ready, and he moves across, covers the line in anticipation. Collard still in the wheel tracks down towards Brooklands, but this is good defensive driving by Tarun Reddy. So Collard is forced to the outside line coming down towards Brooklands. Can he stand his ground all the way around the outside? He's going to try to do it, but no. Reddy comes back through on the inside and retakes the place. Collard using all the curve then, trying to surge up the inside, coming through Luffield. His father proved in the British Touring Car Championship a week ago at Alton Park that he's one of the great overtakers. Has that rubbed off on Ricky? Let's see. Down towards Cox Corner they go, nose to tail for third place. And not only that, but Inam Ahmed there is closing up behind them. It's going to be a three-way fight for third in a moment, and that's bad news for Collard. He doesn't want to have to think about defending, he just wants to attack, but as soon as he has to start defending from Ahmed, that's going to distract him, and the gap will open up, look, because he's driving defensively, and so now Reddy is just edging away once more as they hit the Hanger Straight. Down they go towards Stowe Corner once more. Inam Ahmed, in fairness, is also still under pressure because he has got Sisu and Gebelana tucked up behind him. They make the run then now, down through Vale. Inam Ahmed, hard at work then. Winner at Snetterton, on the road winner at Alton Park. But he's now got Sisu and Gebelana and then Toby Sari stacked up behind him. And if anything now, look, Ahmed has just ever so slightly dropped back from Collard because he's the one now having to defend. And so Collard closing up on Reddy once more as they work their way up through Village. Up front, Matthias Leist looks as though he's going to be on for a third win of the season to equal the tally claimed by Ricky Collard, and that's going to be good news for Leist, not only in terms of the points for the win, but also with Collard mired down in fourth place, he's going to take points off him. Sowry there challenging on Gabelana on the outside line down towards Brooklands. Sowry the red and white car, Gabelana's blue and white HHC Motorsport car just up the road. Tyrone Reddy though for Fortec going strongly and keeping Carlin's Collard at bay. Here they come through Woodcote now. Over the timing line once more, and now onto the last lap of the race they go, but it looks as though Leist is on target for a win. Collard pushing hard as they go through Copse, trying to force a mistake here out of Tyrone Reddy. Collard getting really frustrated about this as Reddy ran wide there over the white line on the exit of Copse corner, and Collard therefore loses just a little bit of ground to him on the run up towards Beckett's, and Sowry is getting ever more menacing as far as Gabelana is concerned, but Sisu having one of his better showings as well in this race. Up front, Matthias Leist is leading the way. Tom Randall looks like he's going to be second, and then there's the battle pack for third, and it's what, 6 cars long, taking you all the way back down to 8th, and Jan Jonk through Stowe. Collard attacking as best he can, defending as best he can, because Anam Ahmed is closing in on him once again. And look at the gap now that Reddy has pulled, because Collard is having to defend once more. The more defensive lines are the slower lines, and therefore he's falling away from Tyrone Reddy, who looks as though he's going to be on the podium. Brazilian Leist ahead of Australian Randall, ahead of Indian Reddy, as there South African and Gabelana keeps Toby Sowry at bay, or does he, diving up towards Abbey. The inside line almost claimed by Sowry, but he couldn't really level with Gabelana. Now towards Village, the South African defends. Jonk closing up as well under braking. Great battling going on here all the way to the line. The checkered flag is being made ready, and it's going to go the way of Matthias Leist as the cars accelerate their way down towards Brooklands. Leist was a winner at Snetterton, he was a winner at Brands Hatch, and he's going to be back to his winning ways here at Silverstone. He turns his way now up towards the final corner at Woodcote, out of Luffield. Look at the gap he's got over everybody else in the race. And so Matthias Leist comes through to win round 13 of the BRDC British F3 Championship. Leist wins at Silverstone, and it's a long, long wait before second goes the way of Tom Randall. For third, it will be Tyrone Reddy, and fourth goes the way of a frustrated Ricky Collard. He tried everything in that, but just did not seem to have the pace. He keeps Inam Ahmed at bay, and then Sisu and Gabelana rounds out the top 6. But a great job done by Matthias Leist, and he is the man in charge, as Lando Norris's rather second-hand looking car is craned away. So another busy race, and a frustrated Ricky Collard taking fourth then, but fending off Inam Ahmed, but he couldn't do anything about Tyrone Reddy. Chases home Tom Randall, and third-time winner Matthias Leist.
We knew that the pace was good, so I just tried to jump to the first position, and I managed to do it. So the first start, actually, I did a bad start, but after the race start, after the red flag, I did a great job and jumped to the first position, and then led the race till the last lap.
It's 3 seconds now, so it would be nice to have converted all of them to wins. That one, it was a bit more disappointing because we started off pole, but I think that's the best we could do. We used 2 sets of new tyres in the quali, and it paid off in quali, but in the race it didn't help. The rest of the field were on new tyres, and so it was okay on the first start, but on the second start the tyres had gone too many heat cycles.
I had a good qualifying today, started 4th for the first race, and then I knew if I had a good start and just did my job of driving consistently, we had a shot at the podium, and to finish 3rd is good for me and the team and for the championship. And for race 2, I think we start 6th, and then hopefully from there I can hopefully gain a couple of positions, and then just try to get a good weekend out of this solid point scoring weekend, and then that's the goal really, and then hopefully we can start high up in race 3 and get a good result then as well.
So, a great first race of the weekend. Matthias Leist the winner. What's going to happen in race 2 here at Silverstone? We'll find out after the break. The BRDC F3 paddock has a number of foreign drivers taking up the challenge this year. We caught up with SWR's Tom Maxwell, who's been showing promise. And when not in the seat of his F3 car, Australian Tom can be found pounding the fairways.
I've only kind of recently really started to take a liking to golf. Like I've played it kind of socially. I just kind of enjoy kind of the relaxing side of it. So golf kind of gives you a bit of, you know, time to chill out and I guess just, you know, think about things, analyse it and kind of spend a good bit of time out in the open on a lovely kind of course. I definitely believe there is a lot to take from golf, and you know, you can take it to racing. Like I think it's definitely a mental game, and you've got to really analyse and think about your swing. You know, likewise on the racetrack when you're going 140 mile an hour, you know, things come up so quickly, and you've got to be able to, you know, really think about how to analyse your technique going at, you know, while your brain's thinking so quick. I definitely think Mum probably sees it as more of a career. Like I think she'd like to see me try and attempt something like that over racing. It's just you know, it's a lot more of a kind of cheaper sport, and I think she likes that kind of view. Personally, I think the year's been going, you know, really great for us. Like I think we came into the year with no expectations, no, you know, we didn't really know where we stood in the championship. So to come and, you know, to perform inside the top 10 consistently is, you know, really a goal kick for us. And you know, coming out of, you know, first year into a wings and slicks category, it's been a massive jump for me, and like I believe it's definitely a fantastic category, and it's really taught me a lot, and like I'm learning, and along the way we're getting there slowly. So it's been fantastic in that respect. The ultimate goal is definitely, you know, Formula One, but just to, you know, to see how far I can go in single seaters is definitely, you know, what we're going to try to pursue, and you know, try and branch out from there. And you never know kind of what opportunities may arise. So like we'll just keep our kind of goals set, and you know, our vision open.
We're ready for race 2 of the weekend here at Silverstone. The cars making their way up towards the grid, and this promises to be another very intriguing race indeed, especially with a really jumbled grid then, with Jan Jonk, the man on pole position this time, Toby Sowry lining up second. It's the reversal of the top 8, remember, from race 1, so that means that the race 1 winner, Matthias Leist, starts 8th on the grid. He's got work to do, and so too is Lando Norris, because he will start 17th. We're ready to go racing. So it's a wet road, they're all on wet tyres, the drivers look towards the lights, ready for race 2 of the weekend. Lights out, it's blast off. Who makes the best start on the run down towards Copse? Jan Jonk from pole position gets away well, and one car crawls away. We'll come back to that in a moment as they tiptoe their way round Copse corner for the first time. A good getaway then by Jan Jonk puts him into the lead of the race, but absolutely flying is Ricky Collard, who's right on his tail as they go up towards Beckett. Collard almost running out of road there. He has got Toby Sowry right on his tail for 3rd place. 4th is Sisu and Gebelana, and now wide goes Jonk, but he hangs on to the lead. Run wide, you'll find sometimes a bit more grip, and that helps Jonk when he's got Collard right up behind him. Nose to tail they run, down hanger straight, Ricky to the outside, Jan Jonk on the inside. Wheel to wheel, down to the braking zone. Sowry is 3rd, 4th is Gebelana. New race leader is Collard though. Round the outside line he goes, and Ricky Collard leads and then goes off. Exit stage left, way wide, all over the runoff. He's back on track, but he's down to 3rd, and Sowry leads. Toby Sowry is up ahead of now Jan Jonk for 2nd spot. It's Jonk, 3rd is Collard, albeit briefly, and Gebelana is up alongside him as they try desperately not to make contact, working their way around Club. And Gebelana goes 3rd, down to 4th is Collard, 5th is Leist. This is Collard's view. He briefly led, and now he's down to 4th, and he's desperately looking for a clear bit of real estate. And Gebelana round the outside of Jonk up into 2nd place. Fabulous stuff this by the South African, the best we've ever seen of him. Collard losing out again. Here comes Leist to the right, hard on the brakes up towards Village, and Ricky Collard, having lost the lead by running out wide at Stowe, now seems to be really struggling. Leist then round the outside of the loop. Sideways is Collard, that leaves the door open, so up the inside tries to go Randall. They're wheel to wheel as they turn out of Aintree onto Wellington Straight now, but Collard just keeping his nose in front. Now where's Tom Randall? There's the end plate of the front wing, look, coming up the inside. They brake hard, they brake late for Brooklands. Jan Jonk trying to get past Matthias Leist, but Leist round the outside of him is making great progress here from 8th on the grid. Sisu and Gebelana then trying to defend for the Brazilian as they turn their way up towards the end of lap 1, but up front is Toby Sowry, and he's away and gone, isn't he? As everybody else has been squabbling and scrapping on the first lap of the race here, so Sowry is checked out. There he is, number 8, Toby Sowry for Lannon Racing, looking for a 3rd win of the year. and Gebelana is second. Leist is third, and there in Ahmed gets up the inside of his teammate Tom Randall. They're both ahead of Collard, and Collard fights back now. Ahmed just has his nose in front as they turn up towards Maggot. Collard tries to think about the inside line for the Beckett's S's, but to no avail. And Lando Norris is making stellar progress. Look, because he goes round the outside of Collard. Fantastic. Norris started 17th on the grid. He's just bagged 7th place in the lap and a corner. Wonderful stuff, this by Lando Norris. The leaders work their way down Hanger Straight once more. And Jan Jonk's about to lose out to Tom Randall in number 49 and possibly to Inam Ahmed as well in the second of the Douglas Motorsport cars here. Jonk, remember, started on pole. Norris keeping Collard at bay as they work their way down through Vale now. Side by side, Inam Ahmed nearest us, and Jan Jonk behind, slips down one place. On board with Norris, up the inside he goes, another place gained. Runs wide coming out of club, next target is Ahmed. Sorts out Jonk, and Collard now looking for a way past Jan Jonk as well as Norris looks to the inside of Inam Ahmed, going into Abbey. Ahmed doesn't run too wide there, so there's no real opportunity for Norris to capitalise on the way up towards Village. He's going to have to do this the hard way. A replay of the opening lap, Ricky Collard going ahead of Jan Jonk for the race lead. Brakes as late as he dares, but a bit too late, doesn't have the traction, can't slow down the car in time, uses all of the runoff, goes way, way wide, gets back onto the circuit, but look, down to third. In contrast, this was Lando Norris's opening lap as the cars accelerate away, blast his way down towards Cox, through the middle of the traffic, so he's gained, 4 places at least by the time he turns into Cox Corner. Makes his move on the outside of Ben Hingley. Then Tarun Reddy to the right, picks him off easily, and then dives in towards the Beckett's S's. Eugene Dennison is the man ahead at this point, and Norris finding traction everywhere up the outside. That's the inside for the last part of Beckett's, another place gained. And remember, this is on cold tyres on a wet road, and the commitment is absolute. Great racing by Lando Norris. Now, can we get him on the podium before the end? Seemingly the answer is yes, because it is a great effort thus far. Sowry leading and Gebelana second, Leist third, but Norris is the real man on a mission. Jan Jonk there, look in the background, keeping Tarun Reddy, number 14 at bay, the red and white car, as they work their way through Copse Corner now. Reddy with the momentum, comes on the inside out of Copse. The road's still in this sort of halfway between not being fully wet, not being anywhere near dry. But up front, Toby Sowry is dominating, and second, third and fourth are together, and Gebelana ahead of Leist, and then Lando Norris in fourth spot from 17th on the grid, pulls to the outside line. He knows the Grand Prix circuit because he was racing here a month ago in Formula Renault, and he's about to make his move right round the outside for third. Has he done it? Yes, he has. Finds the traction on the outside line. Norris up to third from 17th, and it could become second by the end of Vale even. And Gebelana just hangs on to the place. Hard on the brakes, going down towards Club Corner, and Gebelana is sideways, and Norris with an absolutely perfect setup now tries to capitalise and keep at bay Matthias Leist all at the same time. You're back on board with Norris, looking forward. Cesar and Gebelana defends as they head up towards Abbey. He finds the really wet part of the road as well, but Norris will try the outside line, and he's done it. Fantastic. Lando Norris up into second place. Next target, Toby Sowry. The way that he's going, he might even be able to have a go for a win, and Gebelana struggling with a lack of traction, then runs out wide. Matthias Leist gets up alongside him at the loop round the outside, and he's done it. Nose in front, power down, job done. Great racing here at Silverstone, and there's more after the break. Here at Silverstone, it's race 2 of the weekend in the BRDC British F3 Championship. The race is being led by Toby Sowry, but Lando Norris in the dark blue car, number 31, you've just seen dive down towards Brooklands, is second, having started 17th on the grid. And his pace is relentless. Can he catch Sowry before the end? He's going to have a real good go, that's for sure. The race leaders working their way then up over the timing line. There is Matthias Leist fending off Sisu and Gebelana. The cars turn their way over the line and now go down towards Copse. So there is Norris then. He's chasing after Sowry, but can he do anything about it in time? It is only a 20-minute race. And in wet conditions, it's going to be fewer laps. It's going to go to the time rather than the number of laps, which is set as a maximum of 10. There's Ricky Collard in number 11, the championship leader coming into the weekend, and he is trying to fend off the challenge of Quinlan Lyle. You're on board with Collard. You can see still how slippery Silverstone is and how visibility is an issue. Spray still being kicked up onto the visors of drivers. Quinlan Lyle making his way down towards Stowe, and the rain is getting heavier now. Lots of overnight rain. We've had a bit of track activity this morning which helped dry the circuit a little, but now it is getting much, much wetter. They're all on the wet tyres. The rubber is going to work overtime now, and this could well shuffle the result as people start to slither around. Collard trying to close up onto the tail of Tom Randall as they work their way down towards the end of Vale. He's taking Lyle and then Inam Ahmed with him. But the pace of the race now is going to be much, much slower. Collard right onto the tail of Randall though. The Australian versus the Brit as they come out of Club Corner and up past the wing now. Randall defending pretty vigorously. And Ricky Collard still struggling to make progress. He hasn't looked as impressive this weekend as he did at Alton Park, for example. What can he do in race 3 later on in the day? We'll find out as he looks to the inside at Village, but not close enough there to commit. Into the right-hander, up towards the loop. Can he dive to the inside? No, he can't. Doesn't have the drive coming out of the corner. Can he tighten his line? He thinks about it. Has he got the traction? Has he got the momentum? Yes, he has. Going into Aintree. So Collard up the inside, runs wheel to wheel with Randall and gets forced out wide over the curb there. Down towards Brooklands they run now, heading into the braking zone, absolutely wheel to wheel. Collard on the inside, he's going to gain the place, and he does so. Through he goes, up on the inside line. Ricky Collard goes through, goes a little bit wide, and almost 3 abreast, as in the middle is Randall. To the outside line, the red car of Quinlan Lyle. He changes direction and goes from the outside to the very inside, and there's contact between him and Collard, and off they go! Collard in the gravel, hand in the air. What are you doing, he says. And Quinlan Lyle says, what are you doing? You came across on me, but Collard is furious. Collard gets going again. Wet gravel compacts. He even drives over the nose of Lyle's car there just to prove a point. So Ricky Collard is back on track, having been rather unceremoniously dumped out of the way. Quinlan Lyle is going no further though. He wants a push, but he's stuck. Even in the wet gravel. That's it, say the marshals. You're not going anywhere. And Lyle is very frustrated, but perhaps he was the catalyst of all of that. We'll have another look, I'm sure, in due course. So, Sowry leads the way. Norris is second. And in these conditions, perhaps Lando Norris thinking that the time for heroics is done. Yellow flags wave at Luffield. Quinlan Lyle is out of the car. Let's have another look at it. He's on the outside line. He sees a gap. He goes for the inside. And slides into the rear wheel of Collard, yes. So, Quinlan Lyle has a case to answer there. Collard was ahead. And Quinlan Lyle may have thought that Ricky Collard turned across him, but from that angle I would say he didn't. Let's have a look from on board Ricky Collard's point of view. He turns his way through Brooklands, uses all of the road. Remember, he's having one battle. He's trying to defend, and then up the inside comes Lyle. Collard heads for the apex, and suddenly, out of nowhere, whack, he gets turned around. It was an opportunist move, should we say, by Quinlan Lyle. But it was not really on, I don't think, and so he's out of the race. The car is being extricated, and as soon as the track is clear, we'll be good to go racing under green flag conditions. The safety car that's been deployed hopefully can peel in at the end of this lap, and then we'll be ready to go. But are we going to have time for one more racing lap, or is the race going to finish under safety car? Let's just see. Toby Sowry has lost all the advantage by having Lando Norris right up behind him. In fact, almost alongside him. Norris wants to get on with this, but the lights are still flashing on top of the safety car, so it's going to do one more lap, yeah, and I think that's going to mean we'll finish under the safety car. So Toby Sowry is, in a sense, given a get-out-of-jail-free card. He doesn't have to think about being attacked by Lando Norris. Instead, he will bring them up towards the timing line. And there is the checkered flag. So Toby Sowry wins from Lando Norris, and Matthias Leist bags third place. Not the way the drivers really wanted the race to end, but a big sigh of relief for Toby Sowry, a third win of the year, and what a drive by Lando Norris, up from 17th on the grid. But it's a shame we never saw him be able to take on Sowry with the gap right down at the very end. But with that contact between Lyle and Collard, we finish behind the safety car, and it means that Collard in the end was way down in 13th spot. Ben Hingley in the top 6, good result for him behind Inam Ahmed and Tom Randall. Matthias Leist third behind an inspired Lando Norris, and a third win for Toby Sowry.
The start we had wasn't too good, so we dropped down a few places. but we managed to get third back by the end of the first corner, and then Ricky got the lead going into Stowe but ran wide. And then we got a better exit, so we managed to sneak the lead back, and then ever since that we just really walked off.
Visibility wasn't too bad at the start, so I don't think that cost me too much, but yeah, I think I did a good job overall.
Yeah, it was a tough race, but we managed to do a great race and scored great points as well, so in the podium again, the second race of the weekend. Really happy.
The winner, Toby Sowry, wondering whether they may have...
Another driver joining the championship this year is South African Eugene Dennison, who has joined up with SWR. He's also moved into the Motorsport Valley around Silverstone.
After karting, I did a few races in Formula Ford, not a full season, and then obviously I did some testing with some teams, and I felt it was a really good car. And then this year we did another test, and seeing that the car was so good and like the aero package, like you can really feel the car. It's a lot about the driver as well. A lot of guys are used to the tracks here, first time for me here, but because I'm in quite a good environment, I start learning a lot more. I'm a lot more focused being away from home. This is like where I want to be, so it's really boosting everything towards my goal. Well, I'm quite happy now that I've settled in, found a decent place to live. At first, kind of had to do some hotel hopping just to get used to all the people, the surroundings. I had to do everything on my own. So I'm quite happy where I am now, living with the teammates, so we get along quite well. So that's quite good for the team as well. Just to get along around here in Silverstone on off weekends, besides doing testing, we just come back home, relax, recharge a bit, and then obviously head back to the simulators and training, getting focused for the next race weekend. But other than that, we like to cycle around just to get away from home. Like back in South Africa, I'm quite an adventurous guy. Love climbing mountains, hiking, some shark cage diving and things like that. But it's a bit difficult to do all those things here in the UK because of the weather. It's quite cold. You're quite tempted to stay inside. But other than that, just trying to do my best to get outside. So cycling is something I keep busy with. Location isn't very with mountains, trails and stuff like that, but I'll eventually find a place to do that. The year's been pretty good. Every race improved, learned a lot, take a lot back and to think about, but I've done a few good races. A bad one at Rockingham, but I'm sure we'll bounce back after a long break now, seeing that all the races are quite scattered, like a month apart. So I think that's pretty good. We get a lot of testing in between now, and so hopefully the next few rounds will be a lot better, and yeah, hoping for strong results then.
For race 3, conditions took a turn for the worse as a light summer shower hit Silverstone and the track was awash. And so too were the pit garages. With conditions worsening all the time, the officials made the call to abandon the race as well as the remainder of the meeting.
It was one of those, if it was slick, if it was wet, right at the last minute, with a big old downpour, but it was just far too wet to race, I think, at the end. But unfortunately, the decision was made a bit too late because we all got drenched. But yeah, it was the right decision at the end of the day. It was just far too wet. It's tricky in the GT cars, but in the single-seaters, it's just, be too dangerous. The right call was made.
Massively frustrating, with pole position, so felt we could have got a result there and get back near the front of the championship, but safety concerns, we couldn't control the weather, and it was the right call to abandon the meeting, I think, and hopefully we'll be able to run that race again. But for Matthias, it's a disappointing end to a great weekend for him. He was super quick all weekend and was looking to capitalise on that pole position. The single seaters with the flat bottoms, the skid blocks and everything, they can't run in that sort of conditions. The grid will stand, and we'll keep the same tyres as we use, that we were due to use for this race, maybe for that race whenever it's run again.
So thanks to the good old British weather, just 2 races run here at Silverstone this weekend. And so what does that do to the championship? Well, it means that Ricky Collard still has the advantage, although Tom Randall is not that far behind him. And in turn, he's only 3 points clear of Matthias Leist. Toby Sowry's good weekend puts him 4th ahead of Inam Ahmed. Alec Huvenen is the man who rounds out the top 6. There are plenty of good fights all the way down through the order after 14 races now in the BRDC British F3 Championship. And the next stop is going to be in Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps, a place really noted for its glorious sunny weather. Not